Welcome to today's Practice Advantage Pro. Is it prime time for scribe time in your group? Who isn't busy enough as a clinician with everything that goes on in healthcare today? Documentation requirements have gone up. The time factor, the time pressure to see more patients has gone up. So who isn't busy enough, and is it time to consider a medical scribe? Historically, medical scribes go back to the ancient Egyptians. The very earliest healers and physicians actually had scribes so that they could, and I think the business purpose is very similar today, ease the burden of documentation for the provider or the physician. Although they were on papyrus and we're on electronic medical records, the concept was the same. So what is a medical scribe in today's world? They're a physician partner foremost. Secondly, they're armed with medical devices to take notes typically. They're shadowing the physician per encounter. Oftentimes they're pre-med students or pre-healthcare professional students, so they have a vested interest in learning and understanding medicine. And then is there a cost benefit to this whole thing? That's another question that a group might ask. Well, if you join or subscribe to a service that's out there that provides medical scribes, you may be paying $20, $25 an hour for that service. They take care of the training and all other kinds of things that go on with them. If you choose to internalize it yourself and have your own medical scribe that you're accountable for, maybe you can pay $10, $15, $16 an hour for that. So what do you get from that investment of your resources? One is documentation is done timely, meaning that your claim submission would be done more timely. Typically, that translates into more cash flow. Your accounts receivable days improve. Possibly you could see more patients, and that's an assumption if there is the demand. Certainly, if there is the demand, you could get an extra patient or two in the day if you're more efficient with your documentation. And here's what I hear oftentimes from providers, physicians that have embraced the medical scribe. And I think this one is one of those intangibles, but they go home earlier at the end of the day, and they engage with family or their recreational activities. So they're getting done at 6 p.m. instead of maybe 8 or 8:30 p.m. and they've actually got time with the family, and they will say that time is priceless to them and worth the investment. So think about it. Is it prime time for scribe time in your group? Thank you for joining us for today's Practice Advantage Pro.